I'm sorry, it sounds like I recorded down a hole in this podcast. I don't really know what happened when I was recording. Something must have happened during the transfer, but I'll do my best to correct this in the future. Thanks.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the LuckyDog podcast. This is your host, Elias. Today we are discussing Crawl, directed by, who the hell is this from? Alexandria Aja. And I'm sorry, I fucked that up like 3 different times, but I'm not going to go back and correct it. I don't give a fuck. It's the same director as High Tension and The Hills Have Eyes and Piranha 3D. So this guy is known for in Mirrors. So pretty well known horror director when it comes down to what he's directed before. I actually haven't seen the majority of those, but I've heard a lot about him. Crawl 2019, rated R, hour 27 minutes, is about a young woman while attempting to save her father during a Category 5 hurricane, finds herself trapped in a flooded house and must fight for her life against alligators. By Crawl. I don't know. I was trying to work that in there and that didn't really work as well, so I'm just going to roll with it. This is written by Michael Rasmussen and Sean Rasmussen. And I'm kind of struggling with all these names, but bear with me. I'm not familiar with anything they've done. They've writers on Crawl, The Ward, Inhabits, and Dark Feed. Never heard of any of those. So for Crawl 2019, relatively simple premise. It's good action. Good, clean, family action. No, it's not family action, but it's good. It's good action. And I was actually surprised by the amount of gore that you get with this movie. I wasn't exactly sure what to expect. Niche premise. We've seen all of these, types of movies where these animals are trying to, attack people and they corner them, sort of, not Jurassic Park style, but more like Jaws style. This felt like sort of like Jaws, but with like alligators. This is also focusing on multiple problems happening within this movie. So you have the alligators as one problem, but I mean, the building that this young lady is trying to save her father in is also flooding seriously fast. So it's a battle against the elements as well as against nature. Oh, excuse me. Kind of hungry. I love the atmosphere in this. We were watching on the projector screen, so we had it really loud and big, and I thought that was a good way to watch it. It's fun to watch it with like a lot of people. The pacing in it, this movie goes by so fast, I couldn't even believe it was over. The cons, the writing is very subpar. I felt like it's just very surface level, nothing really too crazy about it. Some spotty CGI when it comes to some of the kills, if I remember correctly, but it wasn't too bad. And some of the weather did look a little bit CGI heavy. Might not age as well. And this was also moderately predictable. Once it hit a certain time frame within the movie, I realized what exactly was I had a feeling what was going to happen. So let's go into spoilers for Crawl. The first-person POV for the monsters underwater was pretty cool. I know this is an affordable way to show what the monster is looking at, but also a way to convey perspective, intention, and showing, where the monster is in proximity to the victim. So we get a lot of shots of the gator going underwater and, going around just debris and stuff like that. It's pretty crazy. The gator had a cool pose in the lightning when she first sees him. He's like, huh. He's like, I was like, oh shit. I really like that. The the people in the gas station, oh my gosh. Once you figure out what happens in the gas station, you slowly realize no one in this is safe. I mean, everybody is a meal except for the main characters. The main characters being played by Kaylee Sacalario and Barry Pepper. We've seen Kaya in Pirates of the Caribbean, Maze Runner, and Moon, among other things, as well as Extremely Wicked and Shockingly Evil last year. The movie about Ted Bundy with Zac Efron. I believe she played one of the girls in there. What else? Barry Pepper. We all know Barry Pepper is one of the actors in a lot of our favorite movies, but I feel like he's always overlooked. I feel like in almost every movie he's like in some of the biggest movies with some of the biggest stars, but no one ever knows his name. It's Barry Pepper. Remember the name Barry Pepper. He's in Saving Private Ryan. We've seen him in True Grit. We've seen him in The Green Mile. I mean, tons of movies. And he's also in a lot of B movies as well. Like, if you want to say, like, Maze Runner and stuff like that. That's relatively, and, you know, like movies like Broken City and The Lone Ranger and stuff that didn't quite make it to the big screen. But, you know, that did make it to the big screen, but didn't get critical appeal. So, yeah. What else do we have on here? I keep losing my space on my notes. Okay, so long, unique deaths throughout this entire movie, and people got fucked up. I mean, these people, even our main characters, are slung around. The main girl's like slung around tons of times. The father gets his arm scooped off, like right when he's got his phone trying to save the dog. Predictable that the dog was going to be used somewhat as bait in a way for, it's like the audience is like, no, don't get the dog. Oh, he didn't get the dog, but he got the arms. Oh, you know, it's like kind of predictable when it came to that, but ultimately we know what's going to happen. Odd family conversation scene when there's the daughter and the father at the bottom of the house, and they're having a conversation about being resilient and being a strong swimmer and stuff like that. Like there's this whole threshold of her needing to swim, and they really tried to play that up in a way that I was like, okay, so you don't need to crawl, you need to swim. And so that's what the whole thing is about that. I just felt like it was kind of forced. Yeah, and it's not a good time to talk about the divorce. Like, why y'all talking about the divorce when all that's going down? I'd be trying like hell to just whack anything and everything to get the hell out of there. Let me see. I said the wind up light detail is the fact that they go through having to show that she has to wind that waterproof light up to make sure it's good. I like the detail. I'm glad they didn't just give her a regular light. She has to, continuously crank it. It's a crank light. Some of this movie reminded me of the Star Wars trash compactor scene with the trash compactor in Star Wars A New Hope. When some characters fall in, something similar. It looks like there's like monsters and stuff that are in there, and it's like, oh shit. This is a fight against nature and time and debris. Yeah, his arm is taken in glorious fashion. And I thought overall this movie had some really great set pieces. It's a lot of fun, it's short, and it's to the point, and so I really don't have any complaints about it from a major perspective. I think I gave it a 7 out of 10. Let me see. 7 out of... Did I confirm 7 out of 10? Yep, 7 out of 10. Alrighty. Thank you for listening, watching LuckyDog Podcast. Comments, questions, concerns, the LuckyDog Podcast at gmail.com. Twitter, LuckyDog Podcast. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Discord. All of the links are down below. PayPal.me/the LuckyDog to support all the podcasts, all the streams, 5 stars. You know what to do. Help us out. Thank you for helping us, the Lucky Dog Podcast. And take it easy.